Hello, I welcome you to today's lesson. We have science for basic 5. So today we are going to look at something that is so interesting. But before we begin, you know my name? Or you don't know my name? Okay. My name is Paul William Sofori. Let me also know your name. Write your name at the comment section and then the name of your school, the name of your town. Today we are looking at strand trace systems, but the topic is adaptation of organisms in their habitats. Let me read it again for you. Adaptation of organisms in their habitats. So today's lesson is about organisms in their habitats. I hope you are not confused. Don't be confused. I'll explain things for you to understand. Don't worry at all. Organisms in their environments or in their habitats. Okay, so now, before we begin, let's look at these keywords. The first one is habitat. Habitat. What's the meaning of habitat? Where do you live? Where do fish live? The birds, where do they live? So, when you talk of habitats, a home, the natural home of an organism, or let me say, the natural home of an animal, of a plant, of human being, that is what a habitat. Where living things live, that's the natural home for living things. I hope you are not confused. So let's say fish. Fish live in water bodies. So water bodies, they are what? Or water bodies are what? Habitats for fish. Okay. The next word is organism. Organism, we are talking about human being, we are talking about animals, we are talking about what? Plants. So you have to understand that organisms are things that have life. Okay. The next word is adaptation. 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 Organisms, they need to adapt to the environment. So what's the meaning of adaptation? It's all about the special traits of an organism that helps it to survive in a habitat, in an environment. So fish are able to live in water because of what? Their traits, their physical and their behavioral traits. Okay. The next word is amphibian. Amphibian. I've taught you this before when you were in class 3. Okay, maybe you have forgotten. So when you talk of amphibian, amphibian is an animal that can live on land and in water. Example is frog. Frog is an amphibian. Frog can live on land and can also live in water. Okay. The next word is features. Features. So the physical things that you can see about an organism, the characteristics and attributes or the attributes, what makes something different. That is what? Features. Okay. So all organisms have their features. All organisms have their what? Features. Okay, so we are looking at living things. We are saying that living things depend on their environment for survival. There are some living things or organisms that cannot stay in a particular place for a day or more. This means that organisms, that is human beings, animals, and plants, have their natural home where they can live without dying. So here we are talking about organisms, plants, animals, human beings. We all have a place where we can live and we will not die. I don't know how to swim. So if you push me, or if you ask me to go and live in the water, in fact, I will die. If you take fish from water and then you put it on land, the fish too will what? Die, because the land is not a habitat for fish. The sea, water bodies, is not a habitat for me. I hope you understand it. Birds too cannot live in water. Birds. So all the living things have their what? Special place where they live, their natural home. So that is what? Habitat. We depend on the environment. And we are able to live in these places because of what we have. Imagine fish living on earth. How is a fish going to what? To move? How is it going to breathe? So these are some of the things that you should know. All living things have what? Features. These features enable living things to survive, to live in a particular place. So if birds are living in trees, it's because of what? Their features. If fish are found in what? Water, is because of what? Their features. If cow is also found on land, is because of what? The features that we can the cow what? Has. So now we are looking at habitat. What is a habitat? A habitat is a place where living organisms live. A habitat can also be defined as the natural home where an organism lives. Human beings cannot live in water, but fish can live in water. So we can say that water is a natural home or habitat for fish or fishes. Now let's look at this activity. Match these living organisms to their habitat. So these are living organisms. These are habitats. Now let's see. Cow. Can cow live in the sky, on desert, grass, pond? Yes, what's the answer? Cow will live on grass. So here, for grass and what? Cow. Fish is for pond. Fish is for pond. Plants. This plant is called cactus. So cactus able to survive on deserts. Birds, sky. So these are what? Habitats, and these are organisms. Okay. Now let me ask you. You are an organism. You are a human being. What is your habitat? Is it land, air, or water? So answer it for me. Let's continue. So we are going to look at the habitats. We are going to look at the habitats. We are going to look at the three main habitats. The first one is water habitats. So water habitat is all about animals that are able to live in water, that are able to survive in water, that have water as their natural what? Home. Okay, so if you look at this picture, this is what? Water habitat. Because these animals, the only place that they can live is what? Water. So they have water as their habitat. Let's try and see if we can name some of the animals here. Yes, do you know their names? I can see only different what? Fishes here. Okay, so all the animals that live in water, they have water as their habitat. Now, the next one is land habitat. We are talking about animals that can what? Live on land. They have land as their natural home. Now examples are here. We can see them. We can mention their names. So all these animals, they can't live in water. They cannot live in the air. They cannot live in trees. It is only on land that they can survive. So land habitat, that is animals that are able to live on what? On land. They have land as their natural home. They can only survive on land. So they have land as their habitat. Okay. And apart from this, I believe you can give different examples of animals that can live on land. Okay. Let's come to the next one. The last one, that is air habitat. So we have some animals too. They don't live in water. They don't live on land. You only find them in the air. You only find them in trees. So these animals, they have air as what? Their habitat. Now example is here. Look at them. Bears. So you see bears, they live in the air. Okay, now we have seen the tree habitat. So if I ask you to mention the tree habitats, or mention tree habitats and give examples of what? Animals that can live there, I believe you can do that. So we have land habitats, we have air habitat, and then we have water habitat. Three: water, land, air. Now the animals that can live in these habitats, yes, I believe you can give examples. Okay, so in water we have fish, not only fish, frog and other animals, they all live in what? In water. When it comes to land, your dog, you yourself, cow and others, they live on land. When you go to the air habitats, we have different types of birds. They also live in the air. Okay, so that is what you should know. But now let me ask you this. What is the name for an organism that lives in a habitat? What term do we use for an organism that lives in a habitat? It is called inhabitant. 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 So an organism that lives in a habitat is called inhabitant. So if I ask you to give me a habitat and its inhabitants, what I mean is give me a natural what? Home for an animal, and then mention the animals that live in that habitat. So inhabitants are animals that live in habitats. Okay, now let's move on. We are looking at various organisms, or how various organisms adapt to their habitats. How various organisms are able to survive in their habitats, how they are able to live in their habitats. Okay, so all living organisms do not have the same habitat because they do not have the same features. Living organisms are able to adapt to their habitat due to certain features they possess. Adaptation refers to the special characteristics or features that help organisms to survive in their environment. Okay, so all organisms are able to survive in their environment. All organisms are able to survive in their habitat because of the special features that they possess, because of the special features that they have. So we are going to look at the organisms and how they are able to survive in their habitats. Before that, there is an activity here. In groups, discuss and share your thoughts with the class on the following. So 1, why are bears able to live in the air but not in water? So bears, why is it that they are able to live in the air but they cannot live in water? So what answer are you going to provide? We shall answer it, don't worry. The next one, why do cows live on land and not in water? Cows are able to live on land, but they are not able to live in water. Why? The last one, why are fish or fishes not able to live in the air? So why is it that fish cannot live in the air? Okay, now let's look at the answers. How birds adapt to their habitats, that is air and trees. So these are special features that birds have, and because of these features they are able to live in the air and in trees. The first one is that they have wings that helps them fly. So birds have wings. Birds have claws that help them grasp and land accurately. So they are able to grab things and land accurately. they don't make mistakes. So they have what? Balls. The next one is that their pointed beaks help them peck and pick food. So they also have beak, the mouth, that pointed side, help them to what? Pick food and also peck. The next one is that 4, their feathers keep them warm. You know, birds have what? Feathers. So it keeps their body what? Warm. 5, they have hollow and light bones that make them light in weight for easy flight. Birds are not heavy. They are not heavy at all. Even their bones, compare their bones to the bones of cow, bones of goat. You will see that for birds, even their bones, there are empty spaces in their bones, very light. Because of that, they are able to fly. Okay. We have the bird here. Let's look at it. So these are the parts. This is the eye, the beak is here, the throat, the chest, this is the belly, this is the foot, this is the claws, this the tail, we have feathers here, we have the ram, the wing, feathers, this is the feathers, the back, the nape, and the crown. So these are the features or parts of what? Birds. Parts of a bird, and these features help the bird to what? To survive or to live in air. Okay, so if I ask you to give reasons why birds are able to survive in the air, these are the points I expect you. The beak, the feathers, the wings, the bones are all reasons why they are able to survive in the air. Now let's come to the next one. How fish adapt to their habitat, that is water. We know fish live in water. So how are they able to live in water? Now let's look at it. 1, they have scales that protect them. It makes their bodies smooth. It makes their bodies what? Smooth. So fish, they have scale. You see some rubber thing covering their what? Their skin. So they have what? Scales. That scales protect them. The next one is that they have gills that enable them to breathe. So they are able to breathe because of their gills. Listen to me. Fish, they don't breathe through their mouth or their nose. They breathe through this side. Here. Let me enlarge it for you. This side. This side. They don't breathe through here. Fish, they don't breathe through here. This side, and we call it gills. The gills. So you see this side. That is the gills. Okay. Now let's go back and let me show you something. So they are able to live in water because they breathe through their gills. They don't breathe through their nose. Okay. The next one, their fins help them swim. You know, fish, they have fins. They swim. So they are able to swim because of their fins. Okay, so this is what? The fin of a fish. The next one, they have special eyes that help them see. So their eyes to help them to see. And all these are the features that fish have. These features enable them to live in water. Let's come to the next one. How frogs adapt to their habitat, that is water and land. We've said that frog is an amphibian. It's able to live on water, on land and in water. So let's look at why they are able to live in water and they are also able to live on land. The first one is that they can breathe through their skin when they are in water. So when frog goes into the water, it doesn't breathe through the nose. It breathes through the skin. They breathe through their skin. Okay. They have lungs for breathing on land. So when they come out of the water, they come to land. What happens? Do they breathe through their skins again? No. They have lungs. So they breathe through their nose and their mouth. Okay. The next one is that they have long sticky tongue for catching insects for food. So if you have seen the tongue of a frog, you see that it's very long and they use it to catch what? Insects. They have strong back legs and feet for jumping long distances on land. So you know how they are able to move. They jump because of what? Their strong back legs and feet. Okay. 5. The position of their eyes enable them to see clearly. Look at their eyes, where they are positioned. So wherever you are, any angle, they can easily see you. Okay, so we have another plant. Okay, let me show you. This is how frog looks like. These are the eyes. The two eyes are here. Look at the skin. They breathe through the skin when they are in what? In water. But when they come out from water, they breathe through what? Their nose and what? Their mouth. Okay, because they have lungs. Now let's look at cactus. How cactus adapt to its habitat, that is desert. Let me show you cactus before we start. So this is it. Have you seen these plants? They can survive on what? On deserts. A lot of plants cannot survive on desert, but this plant can survive on desert. You know how desert looks like. There is no water. So desert is just a place that water is very scarce, but these plants are able to thrive over there. So we are going to look at how they are able to survive on desert. So the first one is that their fibrous roots and are long to collect water when it rains. So their root system is fibrous, so they have fibrous root system and is able to collect and store water, okay, for a very long time. The next one is that they have spines instead of leaves. So if you look at this, they don't have leaves. These are the spines. Have you seen it? Okay, so because of the spines, they are able to survive. The next one, photosynthesis occurs in their green stem. So this is the stem. That is where they used to prepare their own food. That is where they are able to make their own food. That is photosynthesis. So they are not like other plants that prepare their food in their leaves. So these are some of the reasons why they are able to survive on land, on deserts. Okay. The next one, number 5. Their spines help reduce water loss during transpiration. You know, plants, what? They lose water. They lose what? Water by allowing the water to go into the atmosphere. And that process is called what? Transpiration. That is when water moves from plants into the air. That is what? Transpiration. So in the case of cactus, their spines help reduce water loss during transpiration. So because of their spines, the water that goes into the atmosphere reduces. Okay. That is another feature about them. The last one, their thick and fleshy stem help them store water for a long time. So this is the stem. It's very thick and fleshy. So it's very thick. This stem is very thick. So because of that, they are able to store water for a very long time. So if it rains today, they will make sure that they will store a lot of water, because they know that it doesn't rain all the time on desert. So they are able to store water and then use for a very long time. Okay. Now let's look at how cattle adapt to their habitat. So we have them here, cattle. How are they also able to live on land or on grasses like this? 1, they have fur or wool that protect them from heat. So we know their skin is covered by fur or wool, and that protect them from heat. 2, their feet enable them to move easily. So they are able to move easily because of their feet. They have teeth that enable them to graze. You know, they are able to graze. They eat the grass. So we say they are able to graze. What again? They have legs that enable them to run very fast. In fact, they don't like running, but when they are running, you even run away. Okay, so these are some of the things that enable cattle survive on land and in the, on grass field. We have a project here, and then we have summary. So we are bringing our lesson to a close. What have we learned today? We have learned about living things, where they live, the natural home for living things. That is what? Habitats. We have seen different types of habitats: water habitats, air habitats, and land habitats. We have seen inhabitants for these habitats. I mean examples of animals that live in these what places. That is what we have also learned. We have also seen that some animals are able to survive, or animals are able to survive in a particular habitat because of what? Their features, because of their traits. Okay, so these are the things that we have learned today. I believe you have understood everything. If you still have questions, yes, your questions are welcome. Make sure you go to the comment section, you ask your question. But remember to subscribe, follow us, like, and share. Now, let's look at the exercises. We have exercise 1, 5 questions, exercise 2, exercise 3. Then we have home assignments here. So this is what we are doing as your work. Make sure you do it. Get a copy of the book. The title is Kokomoti series. Apart from science, we have Asante tree, we have a Kwapim tree. Get copies of these books. We are on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Go there and watch our videos, our lessons. We are bringing to you what your teachers are giving to you in the classroom. So tell your friends that they should go there and watch us. My name is Paul Ramsofori. Thank you.